The Young and the Restless. YNR. Spoilers for Tuesday, September 9th, reveal Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, will deliver an emergency warning while Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, digs a bigger hole with Claire Newman, Haley Aaron. First on Tuesday's YNR episode, Kyle will try to talk his way out of more issues with Claire, who will remain upset over his secret agreement with Victor Newman, Eric Braden. Claire isn't going to let this go, so Kyle may have no choice but to come clean about the $5 million he agreed to pay if he broke her heart. Kyle also agreed to leave town if he violated the contract, so he'll think this should prove the depths of his love. Unfortunately, Claire won't agree with all the secrecy, nor will she like being at the center of some contract like she's a piece of property. Despite Kyle's attempt to explain, he's only going to add to the problems in his already fragile relationship. Meanwhile, Nick will have an emergency meeting with Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, and try to put her on high alert when it comes to Kane Ashby's Billy Flynn project. Kane's team developed AI software that's undetectable and can wreak havoc once it's installed in a company's system. Since Nick will assume Kane wanted Phyllis for her hacking skills, he'll push her not to get involved in something so shady. Phyllis could get herself arrested if she's caught doing something illegal, so Nick will try to steer her away from any trouble. Of course, Phyllis won't be deterred by Nick or even Kane himself despite his recent outburst in the park. Speaking of the park, that's where Tessa Porter, Kate Fairbanks, and Daniel Romalotti Jr., Michael Graziadei, will share a close moment soon. It'll lead to Daniel calling Tessa beautiful and letting his feelings shine through more than he has before. There's a chance Mariah Copeland, Cameron Grimes, might witness Tessa and Daniel's strong bond since she's about to make an admission. Unless Mariah decides to confess what happened with the stranger, Michael Swan, on her business trip, her admission may be more about Tessa and their derailed marriage. Mariah might come clean about some regrets during a conversation with Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, and get some advice to fight for love. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Mariah will still be a mess of emotions, so stay tuned for updates on her next move and any bad news that's still to come. CDL will have other fantastic Young and the Restless spoilers, news and updates to read up on, so drop by often for more YNR details. The air in Genoa City is thick with more than just the late summer humidity. It's charged with impending doom, desperate gambits, and secrets teetering on the edge of exposure. This Tuesday, September 9th, promises an episode that will send seismic shocks through the lives of our favorite characters, starting with a Newman heir in grave peril and a brother's frantic race against time. Buckle up, soap fans, because the drama is about to hit a fever pitch. Nick's desperate plea, a brother's worst fear. The primary engine of Tuesday's chaos is the escalating and deeply troubling situation with Adam Newman. Since his resurrection and return, Adam has been walking a tightrope between his old demons and a genuine, hard-fought desire for redemption. But as Victor's latest Machiavellian scheme, forcing Adam and Victoria to co-CEO Newman Enterprises, has proven, the pressure cooker of the Newman family is enough to make even the strongest soul crack. The cracks in Adam's facade are now becoming chasms. After being publicly humiliated by Victoria and systematically isolated by his own father, Adam has been spiraling. Tuesday, we see the culmination of that spiral. Nick Newman, who has been perhaps the most cautiously optimistic about Adam's change, finally sees what others have missed. Adam is not just angry or depressed. He is dangerously unwell and on the brink of complete self-destruction. The episode picks up with Nick trying to reach his brother after a concerning, cryptic phone call the night before. Adam's voice was slurred, his words a jumble of paranoia about Victor, rage towards Victoria, and heartbreaking despair about his son, Connor. Nick arrives at Adam's penthouse to find it in disarray, a physical manifestation of the chaos within Adam's mind. But Adam is gone. Panicked, Nick pieces together enough clues to realize Adam's downward plunge is more severe than anyone imagined. He isn't just hitting a bar, he's in a tailspin that could have permanent, tragic consequences. In a heart-pounding scene, Nick storms into the Newman Enterprises executive suite, interrupting a high-stakes meeting between Victoria and a potential European investor. "We need to talk now." Nick barks, his face pale, his usually composed demeanor shattered. Victoria, ever the Ice Queen, tries to dismiss him, but Nick won't be ignored. This isn't about business, Victoria. This is about our brother. If we don't find him right now, I'm afraid we're going to lose him for good this time. This is Nick's emergency warning. He makes it brutally clear that their familial games have pushed Adam past a breaking point. He accuses Victoria of relentless psychological warfare and Victor of manipulative cruelty, declaring that their father's tough love is about to get their son killed. The raw, unfiltered fear in Nick's eyes is what finally pierces Victoria's armor. For a fleeting moment, the CEO vanishes and a terrified sister takes her place. The question is, will her moment of clarity come too late? Victoria's calculated risk, humanity versus ambition. Victoria's reaction to Nick's warning is a masterclass in internal conflict. As Nick lays out the horrifying possibilities, we see a war waged behind her eyes. On one side is the ruthless business titan who has seen Adam's presence as the single greatest threat to her birthright. She has expertly manipulated the situation, leveraging Victor's own ego to box Adam out, all while maintaining an air of righteous indignation. On the other side is the woman who remembers a little boy she used to protect, a brother she once loved before years of betrayal and trauma eroded that bond. Nick's words force her to confront the very real human cost of her corporate conquest. Is winning control of Newman Enterprises worth the price of her brother's life? In a surprising move, Victoria does not immediately dismiss Nick. She clears the room and actually listens. However, this is Victoria Newman, and no move is ever made without a calculation. Her concern, while genuine in the moment, is instantly filtered through a prism of opportunity. She agrees to help find Adam, not just out of sisterly duty, but because a full-blown Newman scandal involving a drug overdose or a suicide would be catastrophic for the company's stock price and her own standing as a stable leader. Her assistance becomes a calculated risk. She uses Newman resources, security, contacts, the ability to track his phone and credit cards that Nick doesn't have access to. She is helping, but her motives remain a complex and troubling cocktail of residual familial love, cold-blooded corporate preservation, and a dawning realization that if Adam is permanently removed from the board, it should be by her design, not by tragedy. Her journey this episode is a tightrope walk, and one wrong step could send her and the entire family tumbling down. Sally's agonizing choice, love versus loyalty. Meanwhile, the other woman in Adam's life is facing her own tempest. Sally Spectra is being pulled in two directions. On one side is Nick,